Bore da, good morning. My name is Rees and I am a 19-year-old university student currently studying at the University of South Wales. And I come from a small place in South Wales called Blaenau Gwent. And this image behind me now is actually just taken just down the road from me in 6 Bells. And it's a miners' memorial which was revealed in 2014 when I actually carried the Commonwealth baton through my hometown. So it's a very passionate place and I love being able to represent where I'm from. Over the last 4 years, I've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to be a young ambassador for Wales. And I've had many opportunities and I've had the great pleasure of working with many organisations, not just in Wales but across the UK. Some of those include Sport Wales, New Sport Trust, Step Up to Serve and Public Health Wales. And I truly am humbled and honoured to be asked to attend this event here in Lithuania. And I do feel privileged to be able to represent the young people on a European stage and to represent Wales. So thank you very much. But my life hasn't always been this straightforward. So when I was aged 11, I suffered with mental health issues. And this led to me not attending school, and I often found myself scared of social interaction. But sometimes I couldn't even leave the house or even leave my bedroom. And this image kind of describes me best. In terms of my school, I kind of fallen off the edge of the cliff, but I was hanging on with the last branch. But my pride was weighing me down, and I realised that something had to change. But everybody thinks of changing the world, but nobody thinks of changing themselves, and that's exactly what I had to do. So kind of coming from that, but once I was suffering with mental health issues, I always had that one key unique relationship with something very special, and that was actually with sport. Because no matter what happened that day, I always could leave the house and go and play sport and be physically active with my friends, and I'd become this totally different person. So I kind of decided then that I was going to use my setbacks in my life as my platform for my comeback, and I was going to use my passion for sport to try and change my life. I didn't quite know how, but I was willing to be prepared to take that journey. And when I thought in my head, this is what my plan kind of looked like in my head, I'd have a goal at the end and have a nice, straightforward, easy journey, but in reality that objective at the end had lots of barriers and obstacles in the way of that. But when I got to that end goal and kind of overcome what I was dealing with, I was so much more valuable and I had so much more experiences around the stuff I was dealing with. But one of the biggest things which helped me on my path to kind of overcoming the person I used to be was when I started volunteering. Because by volunteering, I actually thought, by helping others, I was actually helping myself. And I was able to kind of inspire other young people to share my passion for sport, and that's why I'm so passionate about the sport does change lives, like it has done my own, and I want everyone in the world to have that opportunity to participate in sport, to see what power it has for them. But I realised that when I was dealing with mental health issues, I was never alone. 1 in 4 people in Wales are likely to suffer with mental health each year, and it costs Wales an estimated 7.2 billion each year. It's a huge amount of money. And the 2015 Welsh Health Survey informed us that there's been a 6% rise in the amount of women who suffer with mental health. So there's lots of work to do around some of the stuff going on with that, and whether that's trying to end the stigma and getting people to talk, or opening more resources. But the survey also told us that Wales are making some great progress when it comes to tackling poor health, with there being a 3% decrease of males and females dealing with poor health. So as I said, the survey showed us that we are making good progress towards improving health for many in Wales. But from a young citizen's point of view, what do young people need, and what is the Wales that young people want? And I'm going to mention 2 things which I think is very critical that we do in Wales to inform young people. And the first thing is opportunity, because everybody wants better opportunities for young people. But it's vital that we act together and share opportunities for young people to have a wider range of experiences for the future. The Wales We Want report was the result of a 2-year-long engagement with Public Health that helped shape Welsh and Future Generations legislation. And that report stated that there are no opportunities here any longer, and most of my family members are unemployed. In terms of a local perspective, this photo was actually in 2008, and this is a steelworks in Ebbw Vale. This kind of employed over 8,000 people in my local authority. But in 2010, the steelworks left and the site was demolished, leaving the streets with a lack of aspiration and a lack of community resilience, and obviously a lack of employability. In my local authority, official figures showed that last year there was more than 8,000 people who wanted a job, yet there's only 300 low-wage, temporary positions available. So there is a greater effort needed to make a wider range of opportunities, including viable jobs and apprenticeships for young people leaving education early, and for further educational opportunities on a more local scale. I was lucky that just the year before I left school and I was going on to further education, that we used the Steelworks site to build this new employability and enterprise centre. And actually on this picture, which was taken a few years ago now and it has been completed, is the college, a brand new school, a new hospital and sports facilities. And honestly, without this college being built on my front doorstep, I wouldn't have gone to education. I would have finished at the age of 16 and I wouldn't know what my future would be, and I certainly wouldn't be here today. So I owe a lot in terms of funding to getting more opportunities for young people. So we are making great progress, and it's important that we acknowledge that. And this community centre really showed me kind of the value of what I was doing, because when I was in school I could never concentrate in class, I could never listen. So that's where I realised that sport was for me, and that's my future, because I'd be physically active and learn at the same time. I've been lucky enough to volunteer for the Youth Sport Trust as a national team leader, and what that programme is that we have 50 young people who aren't necessarily volunteers and help run Youth Sport Trust programmes, but we're not just a workforce of volunteers. They invest in our employability and our personal development, which is crucial. They realise that we are young people, but that we have to have development, and they're constantly investing in our personal employability skills to give us the future rather than looking at just the present. And another way of doing this is physical activity. Obviously myself having a passion for sport is a great way to allow people to really get hooked on sport for life in terms of Sport Wales' perspective, but to allow people to have them opportunities to change their lives. And then in terms of engagement, as well as the legislation offers more opportunities for young people, it also encourages the engagement with young people and other citizens in their communities. And as I said earlier, the Welsh Future Generations Act establishes public boards for each local authority in Wales. And the Act ensures that service boards must include the local authority, fire and rescue, and the natural resources body for Wales. And this is the perfect opportunity to engage with young people from the community on a board environment which allows citizens from the community to have their voices heard. This is a chance for young people and members of the public to help share their communities for the future. And we must ensure that this happens in Wales and this does not become a tokenistic item, but it actually adds value to the plans of the future. And the Act also informs the businesses and organisations that they must consider and the views of children and young people in Wales. Over the last year I've been lucky enough to be a part of the Sport Wales board as a young person's representative, but I've also joined the Public Health Wales United Improving Health Board, because organisations in Wales are now realising the importance of listening to young people's views, because we are the future. And a final word from me, that there's no silver bullet that will be the answer to all our problems, and we all need to take responsibility and act together. I'd just like to thank Welsh Government, Public Health Wales and the World Health Organisation for allowing a young citizen like myself to have the amazing opportunity to share my views around health with you today. But the final word from myself is that, I'm not quite sure if you can see that, but for myself, in my generation, and I'm sure many others will understand as well, is that we're often told no too many times, or you can't do something. If I was ever told that if I said that maybe 2 years previously that I was going to be here today speaking, people would look at me and laugh and say, you can't do that. But you've got to let the word no excite you, and you've got to let the word no motivate you to reach your full potential. And I want everyone in this room to take away one thing, and that's to say that you can do something, no matter how big that goal may be. It may take a long time going back to the goal setting, but as long as you work hard and appreciate every step and value that, you're going to become a much better person from it, and having that positive attitude, saying that you can do something, and that's the end of the story. But I'm going to leave you with one final question that I want you to take away back to your countries and to ask yourselves throughout the next few days. And that simply is, without young people, where is the future? Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much.